A very good morning to all my dear students. Welcome you all again to the class of English. Yesterday we discussed about the story of his first flight. From the stories, two stories about flying. If you have still any query related to that chapter, his first flight, you can ask me anytime. And even I have given you some questions, assignment to complete. And I hope you all have completed and will show me by today. So today we are going to discuss the second story of two stories about flying, that is the Black Aeroplane. The Black Aeroplane is written by Frederick Fawcett. First we'll discuss about the author. Frederick Fawcett is an English author, journalist, former spy and occasional political commentator. He is best known for his thrillers. So now let's discuss about the title, The Black Aeroplane. As the name, as the title signifies, it is a story of a black aeroplane and its pilot. The name of the black aeroplane is Old Dakota, which has been played or run by an Englishman. So let's discuss about the theme of the chapter. If we talk about the theme, the moral of this chapter, we know that always there are powers and supernatural powers, but it is we who determines whether our internal powers, our self courage, our motivation works, or only the supernatural powers work. There's something that goes beyond sometimes nature, but it is we who have to decide whether it is our internal courage, is some motivation that has helped us at the time of adversity, or some supernatural power. So here this story leaves the readers in a dilemma, or just give them an opportunity to point out or to raise their own ideas about this chapter, the ending of this chapter. Courage, we know that, is always guided by faith. We should never give up in the face of adverse time. This is the message, this is the moral that this story conveys us. So now let's discuss about this chapter. The present story offers a psychological insight into a character under stress. It is an interesting account of the narrator's encounter with the pilot of a black aeroplane who comes to his rescue in distress. It is a mystery built around the black aeroplane and its pilot. The present story offers a psychological insight when the main character, the pilot of this story, was under stress. It is an interesting account of the narrator's encounter with the pilot of a black aeroplane who comes to his rescue in distress. It is a mystery, a secret built around the black aeroplane and its pilot. In the story, there was a pilot who was flying an old Dakota aeroplane at 1 o'clock at night. The stars were shining and there was not a trace of clouds. The sky was quite clear and the plane was flying over France and going back to England. The pilot was extremely happy, extremely excited, and he was lost in the dreams of his holiday and family. Around 1:30 a.m., he called Paris control room to inquire about the route and location. The control room instructed him to turn 12 degrees west. The pilot checked the map and the compass, switched over to his second and last fuel tank, and turned the plane 12 degrees west towards England. He expected to join his family for the breakfast. When Paris was 150 kilometers behind, the pilot saw the black storm cloud approaching the plane. He couldn't fly over them. Also, he didn't have enough fuel to fly around then south or north. Initially, he thought of going back to Paris, but his strong urge to meet his family members led him straight into the storm. It was absolutely dark inside the clouds. The plane was jumping and twisting in the air. All the instruments had stopped working. The pilot closed his contact with the ground staff because his compass and radio had stopped functioning. Suddenly, he saw another aeroplane quite near him. That strange black aeroplane had no lights on its wings. The pilot of the black aeroplane asked him to follow him. The pilot flew in the clouds for half an hour. He had only fuel left to fly another 15 minutes. The pilot got frightened. Suddenly, the black aeroplane descended and the pilot followed him. Finally, the black aeroplane guided him to an airport for landing. The pilot was thrilled to see the runway, but when he turned his head to thank the pilot of the black aeroplane, he couldn't see him anywhere. After landing, the pilot immediately rushed to the control center and inquired about the black aeroplane which guided him all the way to the airport. The woman on duty at the control center told him that no other plane was seen flying that night. She had seen only his plane on the radar. The pilot was surprised to see or to hear all this and kept on wondering who had helped him to arrive and land safely without a compass or a radio and without any more fuel left in his tank. He kept thinking about this strange black aeroplane and its mysterious pilot. And here the story ends, leaving the readers in a confusion or just in forcing us to think that whether it was a divine power, any supernatural power, or the self help of the pilot that helped him to lead through this disastrous time. So it just forces the readers to think about. So it is we who have to decide whether it's a self power, self motivation, self encouragement, self determination that help us to go through the adverse time and to do our best in the time of adversity, or there is any supernatural or the divine power that helps the human being. So it is up to us how we take the things. So this story, the black aeroplane, gives us a message of faith and courage and never to give up in the face of adversities or bad times. And now there are few questions that you have to complete related to this chapter. So I request you to note down these questions. The first question is, the narrator was going to dash. I hope the answer is very clear. This is only a one word answer. The narrator was going to dash. The narrator was dreaming of spending his holidays with dash. With whom? And the next question is, the narrator was flying his old Dakota aeroplane over Germany to Russia. You have to give this statement either in true or false. I repeat the question. The narrator was flying his old Dakota aeroplane over Germany to Russia. The next question is, give a synonym of gleaming from the chapter. Synonym of gleaming. And the next question is, the narrator called the dash to inform about his position and seek direction. I repeat, the narrator called the dash to inform about his position and seek direction. The control room directed the narrator to turn dash towards England. So these are very short questions, one word answers that I have given you to attempt. I'll prepare assignment and post to you within 10 or 20 minutes. And I request all to go through this chapter thoroughly. Just underline the meaning of the difficult words. If you have any query related to any of the word, any of the chapter, any related to this chapter or any phrase, you can ask me anytime. So, but I expect from all of you to take the thorough reading and complete the questions assigned by me. Thank you.